Hi, welcome to the Lux channel. So it's an unfortunate truth that when you think about system software development and you think about kernel programming and core platform level programming, you see often there's a huge male population, and I have seen even literally teams and teams where there may be hardly any women working in the same, and sometimes you may have just one or two women out of 30 to 40 guys in that specific team. So I don't want to disclose whatever I have underwent, but definitely I have seen a lot of racial discrimination when it comes the way they shortlist the candidates for the team. It starts really, this brutal thing starts from recruitment, and after that, in case if it is a services company, they may take freshers, as you guys know. So they take in bunches, and once they start grooming, they generally give that training to everyone, and then later they kind of push into various domains. Some are picked and pushed into testing alone in case if the company or the managers find that their coding skills are not that good, so they will be reserved into other stuff like testing and so on. So this way they start their career, and often I see that there is a sort of mindset in the industry. We men who work in the system software development had made a sort of hostile situation that in the name of overcommitting ourselves, we kind of expect so many things, which is not end of the day giving fun to this entire job profile itself. So this is what scares many women, and I have seen literally people who ask time to time to stay for longer hours rather than just whatever it is committed, 8 hours or so, a typical work hours, and they don't ever get any extra hours paid for that extra commitment. And also I have seen they ask them to come on weekends and stuff like that. So you should understand, if you have the entire domain itself works like that, I see definitely there's a lot of issue happening in this community. It starts from job interviews. Often in my videos I discuss about interviews because it's not something that I have knocked several doors. Yes, of course I have knocked several doors, but I see that fundamentally you can study the mindset of industry from this itself, because the job selection itself is the entry point. When you have a company asking a specific set of questions, although it is not related, because I have even underwent, I have joined, and after I joined inside the company, I don't ever see them working in that questions, whatever they have asked in the industry, in that interview. Of course I do had some good experiences when for instance when I attended for Akamai. It's completely off topic, whatever the domains which so far I worked, I am into systems and other stuff, whereas in Akamai I worked in service performance and database and stuff like that. I never touched any C code itself. I instead learned completely SQL right from scratch, and after that I also learned Perl and other scripting languages, and I was doing some very core database optimization, although I never did in my life. I did managed optimizing something which used to take around 26 to 30 hours to do some consolidation job to barely around 4 hours or something like that. So this is what is my one of the achievements during my tenure in Akamai. So generally when they interviewed me, the more focus is on their existing technology, since I was into networking and other aspects of that core networking part. They sort of thought I am more capable in that sort of very unique job profile, because for that job profile you need to be part programmer, you need to be part system administrator, you need to be part having so much hands-on in the networking and the other system aspects. So since I also worked long back as a network admin and everything else, so kind of my profile suited for the same. So coming back to the topic about system software development field itself, I see a lot of women don't find it any more interesting. The way you guys have put things into the perspective, you made it so stressful and so dull and boring that you no longer have any sort of feminine aspect in that. So let me give a comparison. Assume I shoot this video and I ended up editing the same. I prepare the banners and I prepare some slides in between. It gives a lot of sense of completion and happiness, versus something you end up working in a mundane system level stuff. If I recollect my experiences in the past when I was working full time as well, so in that you get, of course, you do some complicated stuff. If you achieve something, you get rewarded. At the same time, we men have done in a way that there is no more fun involved. You should understand, when it comes to programming, it is not men who did it in the initial days. It's just women who did that, and men were barely had into their hands in programming, or else even building certain hardware. If you go and check the history, women are the pioneers in terms of preparing the hardware for mainframe. They have even put together the core memory and other stuff. It's women who did. If you see even ENIAC mission, even it is women who constructed. It's just not men. So since their hands are nimble, they can do some complex minute job. So they are well suited for wiring those things and building that hardware from scratch manually. Those days you need to solder, you need to weave the memory and other stuff. So it is women who did it, not men. So they are the people who started their career in core system level aspects. It's not men. So, and unfortunately, if you think about these large corporate MNCs, they have this attitude put into their brains that you should start or you should always think with your mind. You should think everything rational. You should never think what your heart says, and this is where the problem starts. Okay, so when you don't have any more emotions into that, where is that fun and where is that beauty aspect in the same? If you think about internet, if you see sometimes if you study about astrological scriptures, if the person have lot of mercurial aspects, he may become a software developer, because Mercury is a planet rules communication and networking. He may be more into networking as well. So this is one aspect of the same, and this way internet has some kind of aspect of Mercury. If you think internet is end of the day World Wide Web, it's network of systems, network of stuff around the world. So that way it is. Whereas if you think internet is a knowledge sharing platform, it has the aspect of Jupiter, because Jupiter is a planet responsible for knowledge share. And if you think internet is a medium to share and watch porn, pornography is a department of planet Venus. So if you see, if a girl have to be married, they see astrologers, they see the aspect of Jupiter in the girl's chart, in even traditional Vedic astrological analysis, they see, because for a girl, for a woman, guy has a role like guru or mentor. A husband for a woman is like a mentor. So they see in their chart how the Jupiter's position is, versus if they see the guy's chart to evaluate how he is going to get his wife or stuff like that, they will see how the Venus is placed in his chart, because Venus is a god, or it's a planet associated with love and other stuff. It's sex, love, beauty and stuff like that. So they see this way. And for both men and women, if they want to check how is their aspects of parents, like father and mother, for father they check the planet sun, and for mother they check the planet moon, because this is how it is, things are associated. So if you see that perspective, the more and more women, they are very interested in getting into database and application domain. They love doing mobile apps, and they love working in SaaS applications. Even in my college I have seen the same, and right after 16 years, you should understand, I have done in 2002. You can check in the contact page. So even after 16 years, I don't see much trend changing in the same. I have, of course, a couple of women students, but I see that fundamentally we men made that industry in a way that it is so boring, and we always behind this, thinking and putting things in perspective only through our minds. So this is where the problem starts. So I see lot more discrimination when it comes to job interviews. I definitely don't want to disclose, but I have literally seen the managers, just for namesake, they kind of conduct the interviews. They know in hand, even before that, they are not going to shortlist certain profiles, but they need to show the HR that out of 30 profiles, out of 60 profiles, they have shortlisted some few candidates. So this is what the sort of hypocrisy they do. So this is something so common happens in the industry, and unfortunately the girl who attends that interview will have some ambitions. She may be very well suited for that job as well. She may be even a bit tomboy. You should understand, women are also sometimes tomboy, and I have seen in systems there are women employees who are like little tomboy. I can imagine the heroines from Charlie's Angels movie. So you get some kind of women like that. They unfortunately, they are very well suited for the job. Even I can't compare some guys who can have such caliber like this women, but unfortunately this is what is the discrimination happens in the industry. The industry, these managers have certain mindset. They think, okay, in case if there is a kind of deliverables have to be done, if there is some stressful situation, I can't ask this girl to stay for overnight or something like that, because I have seen a guy in my company who stayed a couple of days in the company without bath, and he managed to brush his teeth without changing his clothes, and just because he's doing all this for the name of getting some deliverables done. Unfortunately that company don't have the DOM. As I said, I don't want to disclose, but this is the situation. I can't see a woman having this kind of poor hygiene versus a guy can tackle. So this is the thing. So this is why even the manager and the team's heads or team leads or team heads have this crooked mentality that we can't put these aspects on a women because they don't suit for the same. So right from day one we have this culture saying that this is not something suited for women, whereas something like testing, or let's take example like some admin job or some HR jobs, often they say that for HR jobs women are preferable and something like that. It is just bullshit. There is nothing like that. It is all depends on what is their true skill sets are. Do you see any big large corporate, you see a lot of idiots in any company. You will wonder that how come this idiot got even a job in this kind of a company. So this is the truth. It's nothing to do with any gender. You often see in both genders. But I see this issue with systems software development and kernel development. You can't even find a women out of 30 guys team. They in case if they exist, okay, they may be into some unit level testing. I don't see them even getting opportunities to do any code contribution as well, because you made the situation so stressful right from the job interviews. Look at the job interview of a system software developer. You ask so many off-topic crap where you never use it in your real projects. So if you don't use it in the real project, why do you need to expect the guy should know all these things? It's like that. So this is what it is. Put some beauty, put some passion in the industry, put some passion in that community. It is just because of this kind of attitude, generation after generation, you see that no one would be interested to be in systems industry, because if you choose to be a user space application developer, you get the same pay. Why one should get into system software development and struggle so much? Because you don't have the privilege sometimes when you compare a person working in a user space or some mobile applications and stuff like that. Things are a lot more simpler there, versus here you need to tackle a lot more situations. Something may not work and you need to break your head. You may never see this situation. You may work in new hardware. You need to break your head to make it work. So, and you have on top, you have this confusion that women may not be suitable for this kind of head banging and head breaking jobs, versus you need some hardcore committed guys for these kind of roles. So this is what it is. So when I assess, this is the sort of disease which exists in the industry. I see in literally all top companies. I don't want to say that maybe one company is better than other. I have seen literally all top companies, all of them have this disease. When it comes to system software development, they highly discriminate. They have this gender bias, and it starts from recruitment itself. Forget about executing the project. And last but not least, they also fear that women, when they get periods in a month, they need some couple of days leave, and apart from that, in case if they take any other miscellaneous sick leaves or something, they feel guys are more equipped because they don't have mood swings and stuff like that. You are again ignorant. If you compare the moon cycles, even guys will have monthly once a little bit of mood swings, although they don't get periods. So this is what it is. This is what science says. You yourself test yourself, have a calendar, and then mark your mindset every day, your mood swings every day. You will know that there is a specific week in that month you may have very bad mood. And you guys, what you do is, whole day, when you get stressed out, you go outside and smoke some 5-10 rounds of cigarettes, and every weekend you make it so compulsory that you have booze, and then every day you drink coffee like hell. Women have other ways to manage stress. So this is what it is. Women have other ways to manage stress. It's just they are completely different. But having said that, they are also very much capable. Sometimes this capability, I don't see it in guys, because they are capable in terms of understanding the big picture, and women are the people who are capable of doing something and how it reflects in the market, where we guys lack this context completely. If you see a guy who will be so committed to the kernel stuff or some system software aspects, he don't even imagine that somebody is going to use this code. They don't care which idiot have written this line, which genius have written this line. All they want is their iPhone should work the way they want. They don't care what code you have written. Sometimes your code may not be going into that release itself. So this is what is the hardcore truth. This is something a guy will never able to perceive. This is something women will always able to perceive. So this is where you need that balance in the industry, and let it be any industry. And when it comes to system software as well, you need this kind of right balance to get that equilibrium. Often we find this lack of this equilibrium makes this entire domain so boring and dull. So this is what is the hardcore fact. And every time I see, there is a sort of, lacking this equilibrium, you see all is a team full of, not so motivated guys. That's about it. Initially he may be motivated, but after some time down the line, once he is in the industry for a couple of years, he loses that focus, he loses that motivation, because you have done that so you have done it so much aggressive, you have done it so boring, you have done it I don't get words for that. I have been married by now around 4 or 5 years. So I often have that contact. I often offload something which there is a specific decision making involved. I generally offload it to my wife, because whether it is astrologically or whatever it is, she will have some kind of perception. It really helps, because women are made to perceive such things, whereas we men have certain limitations, At the same time, even women have limitations. So when you see that this is something, it is a sort of God-gifted talent women have, it is better to offload to women. And at the same time, when it comes to taking sudden, quick decisions, you need that adrenaline rush. And this is something biologically cannot happen with, average, women community. There is some sort of, swift decision making, or else you need to kind of, there is an emergency situation where you need to take a decision in couple of seconds or couple of minutes. So sometimes women are not equipped because they need some kind of time to think about the scenario. They need some strategic planning. They are good at that, versus men are good at taking sudden decisions. This is how we are biologically. I'm not saying all women are not capable. I'm not saying all men are capable. Even in men, if you are born a Capricorn or something like that, you will also lack this ability, to be frank. Okay, you have also your limitations. In that, generally men have this ability because they have that high adrenaline rush. So this makes them to take a swift decision making and escape out of that situation and rescue themselves, versus women get into some kind of panic attack. Unfortunately, women cannot digest that information when there is a sudden occurrence, and then they need to take an action. So this is where generally men are good at. Having said that, even some women are good at. So this is what it is biologically. And when it comes to system software development, these individuals are not any soldiers or some, they kind of put in job description that we need a good, firefighting skills and stuff like that. What is that firefighting skills? Is it something that you find it today and then you need to fix it immediately? It is not. You need to have some time, have some thought. First and foremost, the way you approach the entire architecture itself have to be changed. Here itself I see the fundamental issue in the industry. You have the same mindset which existed some 20 years or 15 years back, when you have a hard disk which is just 5 GB of space, and you had a RAM which had only few KBs of space, and you had floppy disk. So you had that mindset. The domain has the mindset which is borrowed from that era, and still you apply the same thing. You still talk about some out of context topics like whether it comes about optimizing memory, whether it comes about optimizing some space or something like that. This is all something you have borrowed from that era. But when it comes to the modern world, you need to see how far it is going to be suitable for your specific application. And in case if you are writing some HPC or some server stuff, you don't need to worry about memory. You have GBs of memory. You need to worry about the optimal performance. You need to optimize your CPU utilization, and there are various other things to focus rather than you sitting and saving some few bytes of or few bits of RAM here and there. So this is what it is. You don't change your attitude here. You don't change your attitude even in terms of selecting or having an opinion about gender itself. So in the end, you have this kind of evolutionary perception of things. In the end, you have this attitude, you have this crystallized thoughts where it is not going to lead you anywhere. You are going to make the system more messy. You are going to make these things more stressful. End of the day, you just compare yourself. If you are not aware, go spend some time with entire teams who are working in interesting SaaS applications and web development and mobile application development. Sit with them, spend some time, couple of days. You will understand how far they are different in terms of their their evolutionary process versus what you are struggling, because you are so and so, because you are trained so and so by your superiors, and the problem starts with your superiors, and the problem again leads to their superiors, and their superiors had these things because these are the things utmost important at some point of time, and right now it is no more required, and you need to adapt according to this generation. and you need to adopt according to the generation what it is required in the future. So hope you liked watching this video. In case if you have any views about the same, or in case if women are watching this video, in case if you are a victim of such kind of discrimination, you can be in touch. Okay, so thank you once again for watching this video. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.